Hi! We are excited to have you here on our first art lesson. We'll be talking all about pencils. This series was created for those who wish to become a Christ-centered creative by enhancing their God-given talents and developing a deeper knowledge and understanding of art. We'll give you art lesson in bite size so that you won't be overwhelmed. Let's identify the different kinds of pencils. First, we have the mechanical pencil. They come in different designs and make. This is made of plastic and this one is made of stainless steel. What we have next is an ordinary pencil. This kind is really cheap. This one I got for free. It doesn't have any markings on it. These two here are what artists normally use. Brands are Faber-Castell and Staedtler. The latter is a little expensive than the first one, but they are both affordable that normally cost around $1. You can't go wrong with these pencils because you'll have exact lead grade markings on them, which I will explain later. These three are the most expensive pencils I've ever seen so far. They cost around $3 each. I found it in 3 colors, but there are other kinds available. What I have here is the white one, which is called the Palomino Blackwing Pearl. The black one is the regular Palomino Blackwing, and the gray one is the Palomino Blackwing 602. It has a writing in the back that says half the pressure, twice the speed. I bought this to test out whether they are of any difference from the brands that people normally use. Now let's go to the graphite grading scale. When you buy a pencil, you'll find some markings on them, like I mentioned a while ago. They have some letters and numbers on them. We'll explain them here. The pencil lead, the pointy end of the pencil, is made up of a mixture of graphite and clay. The graphite is the part that makes the dark mark on the paper. The clay is just there to hold the graphite together because it is far too soft to write or draw with. Here we have the lead grade swatches, which basically show the shades and the appropriate number for each. Let's observe the swatches. On both ends, we have the number 9. 9H being the lightest and 9XXB or 9B being the darkest. What does this mean? Let me explain further on how the scale works. Let's put a 0 at the middle and 9 on both ends. If you look closely, F and HB are almost the same. So let's put them here in the 0 mark. They serve as the neutral shades that we can use for initial sketches. What does H really stands for? H means hard. The lead on this pencil is hard. The harder the lead, meaning the higher the number, the lighter the shading. F means fine. So it means that the point is fine. B stands for black. The lead on such pencil are soft and they produce darker marks. That's why it's called black pencils. Much like the H pencils, B pencils gets darker as the number on them increase. Since they have softer lead, they get used up faster. So this means that HB stands for hard black, just situated in the middle of the scale. Oh, I forgot. B can also stand for bold. Some people say black and some say bold. Like when you're typing on your computer and you want to make your letters darker, you choose the bold option. So B stands for black or bold. We'll now be testing each pencil's lead grade. I tried to find as much pencil available here for this lesson. As you can see, I have a mixture of Faber-Castell and Staedtler pencil. I like using them both because they have different feel when you use it. I prefer to use the Faber-Castell when I create my initial sketches, and the Staedtler for shading because it blends well on paper. The lightest pencil I have is 6H. That's the lightest one I can find in the stationery stores, and I think it's just the right shade for a very light sketch. Next, I have 4H. I don't really need all the H pencils, so I have very limited ones. HB and F pencils are almost the same in shading. I was finally able to locate my F pencil, and let me show you how close they are when it comes to their shade and lead grade. See? The only difference is that the F pencil is fine. You can observe the stroke that the lines look a little bit more refined compared to the HB one. But the shading is the same. That's why I actually prefer the F pencil for sketching than the HB. However, the difference is so minimal that you can barely notice them. We now go to the 2B pencil, the most popular one. When you enroll in an art class, they would ask you to prepare a 2B pencil. This pencil is very flexible. If you control the way you hold your pencil, you can sketch lightly, and without much effort, you'll be able to darken a drawing. If you use an HB to achieve a darker shade, you'll be needing extra pressure and time to do so. Next is 3B. (5B), (6B), (7B), and lastly 8B, the darker shade I can find in the store. Let's test them out side by side. If you would just buy one pencil, make sure you buy the 2B pencil. However, I recommend for you to have F pencil for sketching, 2B for the middle shades, and 8B for the darker shadows. The same graphite lead scale goes for mechanical pencils with the tip and point edition. My mechanical pencil is a Uni Shakalu 0.5, which means that the point is 0.5 mm in size. There are different sizes for the tip. There's 0.3 mm for fine detailed drawing, 0.7 mm or even 0.9 for heavy-handed people. But 0.5 is the most common one. Both of my mechanical pencils come with a 0.5 mm point. Though one should be mindful of the tip sizes, you should also consider the pencil lead grade replacement. They are also available in different lead grades. I have HB and 2B here with 0.5 tip sizes. So always keep in mind the tip size of your mechanical pencil and the lead grade that you are buying. If it's 0.3 mm, buy a lead replacement of the same size with the lead grade you want. Like, for example, 0.3 mm 8B or etc. It's time to test the expensive pencil and see what the fuss is about. But first, let me sharpen them all. On first contact with the paper, I could clearly say that it is very smooth to use compared to the other pencil that I've been using. The gray one provides the desired shade with less pressure as advertised, and the white is just the same as the black one. Using the Staedtler pencil next, I could clearly say that the Palomino pencils are of higher quality and provides a more fluid experience. Lastly, this ordinary pencil. It's still good to use, and based on its shade, I could safely say that the lead grade is HB, while the Palomino black wings are 7B. It's time for some exercise. Find 3 different kinds of pencil at home and we'll compare them with each other. I hope that you will do this exercise because this will help you improve your shading skills. Get your ruler. The smaller numbers are the centimeters and the bigger ones are inches. We need to create 10 squares for each pencil. I find it easier to use the inches here. So let's use 1 inch for each box. Place them next to each other. Once you've done that with one set, create 2 more since we have 3 pencils. Just stack them on top of each other to make it easier for you. One pencil I'll be using will be the 2B. As you can see, I use this one very often, that's why it's already this small, and it gets more challenging to grasp when it comes to this size. Don't worry, there's something called the pencil extender, which costs about $1. You can place your pencil, charcoal pencil, or color pencil to make it easier to hold. Our Staedtler 2B pencil is ready. Another one I'll be using will be the ordinary pencil, and lastly the Palomino black wing. Let's label each row first. You know how when you draw in pencil, you tend to smudge it and have marks on your hand? This ruins the drawing and makes the paper dirty. The only remedy to that is putting a piece of paper to rest your hand on. Before we continue, let's try to find a piece of paper to rest our hand on. The first box from the left is always empty. That would serve as our lightest square. Always start on the first box from the right. This is the box number 10 and would be our darkest square. As I use the ordinary pencil, I observe that I need to put extra pressure to achieve the darker shade. Now move to the next one, making sure that it's a little less darker than the last one. We are moving from the darkest to the lightest, the first box being the lightest. Using the Staedtler pencil took me less time than using the ordinary. It also feels smoother to use. Lastly, the Palomino black wing. This pencil was the smoothest to use. The darkest shade was achieved the fastest too. I could understand why it's more expensive than the other pencil now. Let's look more closely with our shading exercise. Though the Palomino Blackwing pencil gave a much darker shade for its 10th box, they're almost the same. This only means that even if you're using an ordinary pencil, you can still produce beautiful drawings. It may take some time, but you'll still arrive to the same masterpiece. You'll develop patience as you practice in improving your God-given talent. I really do hope you try this exercise out and practice your shading skills. That concludes your lesson about pencils. We hope that you learned something new about pencils. We really hope you subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you'll get updated of the next lessons. Next time, we'll talk about papers. Check out our channel for other arts and crafts projects. Remember, your talent is God's gift to you. What you do with it is your gift back to God. So whatever your hand finds to do it with all your might. Let's improve our art skills together. See you on the next lesson. Goodbye!